Are you feeling a little complacent? Maybe in business, in life, in relationships, whatever. We all feel complacent at some times, and I'm not just meaning, especially when I'm talking about business, I'm not just meaning you've made a buttload of money, all your expenses are paid for, and now you just don't know what to do. Yes, that could be a sense of complacement in business, but it can also mean where you become stagnant, where you sell a few houses, you make a few coaching calls, and you have done that over and over again each month in your business, and you find yourself that you're just like at a plateau. It's not a healthy place to be in business, especially right now in this climate, and we don't know what's going on. And so I wanted to have a conversation with everyone because it's something that I've struggled with this past year in my own business. And I'm sure there's a lot of us out there that are struggling with it, and we just don't have to struggle by ourselves. Who would have thunk it? So today I'm going to share with you 3 different ways that I use to get back on track. But first, I want to tell you a little bit more about my journey so you kind of get a picture. So at the beginning of 2020, it was an amazing year for me in my business. Actually, 2020 was a really good year for me. I don't like saying that a lot because I know there's a lot of people out there that struggled. So I don't want to rub it in your face, but I do want to be truthful that 2020 was a pretty good year for me. And whenever the beginning started, I made the first quarter, I made more money in the first 2 quarters. Let me say that. Made more money in my business than I've ever made in any other year before in business. So it was a really, really exciting time. And I took that time to move across country. I moved from Kansas City to Austin, which is super, super exciting. But then the complacency crept in like an evil monster who sucked me up. And that evil monster was the couch. I swear to you, it's Nebraska Furniture Mart. They make the best couches. They're so squishy and you just want to ooh. Everyone that comes to my house, they end up sitting on the couch because it's so freaking squishy and nice and comfy. And it's so long and it just sucks you up. I can't get enough of it. But anyways, my couch is my monster and I was on it for 2 months. Yes, 2 months. Not 1, 2. Not 1, 2. 2 those months. You guys, I had the hardest time. The first month I was like, yeah, girl, you deserve it. You've been busting your ass for years. You deserve this. Sit down, be complacent. Second month came around and I had the hardest time getting up. I had the hardest time making my sales calls, going out there and networking, especially since networking is non-existent. So I had to do it all through online, which for some reason I think is harder. I don't know why. I don't like sliding people's DMs. It's a very weird feeling for me. So anyway, so that was really tough. And I used COVID as an excuse to not get back to the momentum. And I had just a really hard time. Just being honest, I had a hard time. It was hard. And so I know there's a lot of us who probably at some point in time, if you're not watching this at the end of 2020 going to 2021 when it launches, I'm sure you're watching this because you have become complacent in some area in your life. And it's something that's not really talked about a lot, but complacency can be really hard to overcome because for a lot of us, we don't really have to overcome it, right? The basis of complacency is that what you're doing right now is okay. You're doing okay, you're doing fine, but you're not the best you. I was watching a video with Ed Milet, and if you haven't looked at Ed Milet on YouTube, Instagram, podcasts, anything that Ed Milet does, you need to follow it because he's absolutely amazing. And he was doing a keynote speech for I want to say a fix and flip company, real estate. And it doesn't matter, it was still freaking amazing. Doesn't matter if you're an influencer or you do marketing or you're a salesperson or whatever it may be, used carsman, whatever. Used car salesman, whatever. He was talking about when he dies, he believes that when he dies, he's gonna go and meet God. And God is going to introduce him to somebody. And it's gonna be it can happen 2 different ways. The first way will be heaven for him, and that's when he gets introduced to his higher self. But the beautiful thing is that when he's introduced to his higher self, he knows that person. He's like, oh my gosh, dude, like, I know you. You were my identical twin. And he had this like conversation with himself on stage. It was so amazing, where he was telling his higher self, like, yo, I've been running after you for years, and I'm so happy that I got to achieve everything that God set out for me to achieve. And then he said there's also a second version, right? And it's the you, say you die right now and you go to heaven, you go and meet God, and God introduced you to the person you are supposed to be, but you do not recognize that person. That would be considered hell for him. And it was just like this really cool way of putting in perspective how we should always go after our best version of ourselves. And sometimes complacency can be a form of self-sabotage, or it literally is self-sabotage, of being the best version of yourself. So you can choose even to have the heaven, where you go to heaven and you're with God and you're like, yeah, I like made it. Like, I'm everything that you wanted me to be. Like, that's awesome. Or you can go with God and God can be like, bro, like, this is what you could have been, but you were stuck and being complacent. Whatever one you choose, I feel like if you're watching this video, you're choosing to go after the best you. So I'm super excited to share with you the 3 tips I have that got my butt off the couch and got me back and rolling with the momentum. So I'm hoping this can help you too. So the first tip I have for you, and yes, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I tell you right, is I had to revisit my motivation and my big goal. So a lot of times in the day-to-day, sometimes we can lose the big goal, our big why, especially if you're not writing it down every day, especially if it's not in the forefront of your brain or just spread out throughout your house. I have so many vision boards throughout my house to try to help me so I don't forget about the big goal. But however, sometimes it's there in my mind, but because I don't meditate on it, I don't spend time with it, it feels like it's so out of reach. So then I forget it in a sense. Interesting. I could definitely talk about that later, like more in detail. Let me know. Send a comment below if you want to talk about that. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So you're visiting your big goal and just realigning yourself, because a lot of times when we have hit complacency, we have forgotten what it means to be the best version of ourselves. Because if we truly are seeking the best version of ourselves, we should always be pursuing that and growing. So it just goes to the basis of growth mindset, right? You're always expanding, you're always evolving, you're always growing in new areas. So visiting your motivation and big goal is a number 1 thing. Number 2 thing, which honestly should be number 1 because it's so huge, is taking an evaluation of who you're spending your time with. So when you are feeling complacent, 9 times out of 10, the people around you are feeling complacent too, or allowing you to feel complacent. My favorite thing is to, whenever I'm feeling down or feeling like I can't find that motivation, is to reach out to my high achievers, my driven friends, because they're always like, get up, go get it, let's go. Like, they're super motivational, super like, let's go, let's get it. Like, you can do so much more. Like, what are you doing sitting on the couch? Like, those are the people that you need to circle yourself around. So sometimes if you're feeling complacent, you need to do a reality check within your friend circle and be like, oh, I'm gonna have to put you on the burner for a little while just until I get my mental stamina up. So sometimes you just got to change your circle and make sure you are surrounded by high achievers, movers and shakers, and just people who are gonna push you to the next level. The best way to do that is to get into masterminds. I'm a huge fan of masterminds. They are my favorite thing. There's free masterminds, there's paid for masterminds, there's online masterminds, in-person masterminds, women masterminds, men masterminds. I mean, there's all kinds of masterminds. Get yourself in one, because if you're in a room of highly motivated, driven people at a peak state, It's going to change the way you feel. It's going to give you more momentum. I'm having a hard time talking today. I don't know why. But more momentum to go after the things that you want and to help you to pursue the best you. The third thing that I have that helped me is a results list. Now, I cannot take credit for this. I definitely got it from Rachel Hollis from back in the day when I think she very first started the 90-day challenge. And she was talking about the results list, which is so important. And it's basically throwing away your to-do list and choosing a few things that you're absolutely gonna do that day. And it's not just writing down like, okay, I'm gonna do 5 sales calls, but it's adding detail. It's turning it into a SMART goal, right? So it's adding as much detail as you possibly can to make sure that your brain doesn't give you the outs. Let me give you an example. Say on your to-do list, you have make 5 calls. That's all you put. To-do list, make 5 calls. Results list is different. It's gonna be results list. Today, I'm going to make 5 sales calls to Shannon, Mary, Linda, Quan, Dave. I'm totally pulling this out of my head. Can't you guys tell? David, and we're gonna talk about XY services, and I'm going to close 1 person by 5:30 today. If I do not close 1 person by 5:30 today, I will add 5 more to my list. Do you see how different that is? The to-do list is I'm gonna call, it just says call 5 people. Results list is I'm going to call so. And if I don't get 1 sell from those pitches, then I'm gonna do 5 more. Do you see how detailed that is? It's all around the thought process that if you put on your to-do list, make 5 calls, your brain's gonna be like, done. Call your mom, call your dad, call your grandpa, call both of your sisters, right? There's 5, you're done, have a great day. But when you're trying to build motivation, you're trying to overcome that feeling of contentment, it's so important for you to really set yourself up for success. And so that's what I've used to get myself out of complacency and back into that hustle mindset and pursuing the best me I can possibly be. It all started with revisiting my motivation and then elevating my inner circle, getting myself circled around some high movers, high achievers, calling on those people, asking for help, asking for accountability, and then throwing away my to-do list and creating a results list, starting with 1 result per day and adding 1 as I'm starting to build momentum. I have a free guide for you just so that it can soak in. It's a little bit more of an activity that will go over exactly what it means to make a results list. It's gonna go over the different ways that you can find high achievers right now within your inner circle and within your hometown so that you can be circled around these people that are gonna uplift and bring you up, because that's what it's about. And then it's also gonna help you to just refresh your mind exactly why you're doing what you're doing and why and who your best self truly is. If you're interested in this free download, again, it's completely free for you, so why not? It's in the link below, so don't forget to click that. And if this was of value to you, please let me know. Like, subscribe, and honestly, don't be selfish. Share it with a friend, girlfriend, right? Like, share it with our friends. I hope to see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna be dropping videos every Sunday and Wednesday, so stick